It is 4:31 on Thursday, June 26, 2025, and I call this meeting of the Meridian Historic Preservation Commission to order. Roll call, Blaine Johnston's here, Pam Jagosh, Heather Giacomo,
Here.
Patrick Giddings, here, Ken Freeze,
Here.
Deborah Pitts.
Present.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Ms. Schiffler, before we approve it, I have one change. Minutes from 6/4/25, not 5/4/25.
I move that we approve with the change.
I second that.
Motion by Commissioner Giddings, second by Commissioner Freeze for approval of our minutes. All those say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. New business, presentation, elongated coin machine featuring historic buildings. Commissioner Freeze, you have the floor.
Thank you. So just for full disclosure, I have been a coin collector since I was about 9 years old. I do not collect elongated coins though, but I wanted to make a presentation to see about possibly buying one for to promote history in Meridian. And how do I advance this? Just hit the. Okay. So since this is a history commission, I want to give a little bit of history first. Elongated coins in the U.S. first showed up at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. They were very popular. There was a number of designs there. That's sort of where they got their start in America. And from there, we've got some different phases of them. There was a time mid-century that their popularity kind of waned a little bit. But it brings us up to the modern era where you can find these machines darn near every place you go. Disneyland, it's hard to turn around and not see one. Las Vegas, they're everywhere. Every national park and monument, and even in foreign countries, although they're not using pennies in foreign countries, they're using some other currency, but they're really popular all over. There is a national group, the Elongated Coin Club, and they did a survey a while back, and it was interesting that over 75% of their members didn't consider themselves coin collectors. Elongated coins seem to appeal to people because they're inexpensive souvenirs of a visit, local landmark, or an event. My proposal is that Meridian buy one of these machines to help promote Meridian history. The machine would come with 4 dies. They would be different. They could be different historical sites in Meridian. I give some examples of what some of the elongated coins might have on them, like the Zamzo elevator to the Hedges House, Toloff House. And this is just really a short list because we have pretty much anything that's on the walking tour could be there. And we've got more things like the Speedway and other things that even happen. You can even commemorate events. Your imagination can just whatever. And over time, you can change the dies out so that maybe after a year or two, we can put something else in there, retire them, and then maybe bring back the dies later on. I see that this would promote history, go along with the Meridian Historic Preservation Plan on 2 points, 1.2, and I realize this is just a draft right now, but to recognize sites of local significance, and also 3.1 to increase citizens' awareness of Meridian's heritage. It's a cheap way to do it once a machine is in place. However, there is a cost involved in getting it in the first place. One of the machines that I selected, there are actually some cheaper machines, but this is one of the ones that's considered the easiest to turn, which I think is more appropriate for kids especially. And this is a cost from this one company. New dies are $250 each. And when the machine is set up, we can set it up to be free. We can set it up to be anywhere from 25 cents to $1. The really sophisticated ones take credit cards, but I don't want to get that sophisticated with this. Possible source for funding, as I see, there might be some current funding from the commission. We could ask a local company or organization for a donation. We could ask the city council for funding, or at the last meeting, we were talking about some of this stuff from the Army Corps of Engineers, just remediation for this levee, not levee, this lateral that they messed up. So there's some possible funding for it. Promotion, we can promote it through the Meridian website, Facebook page. There's a website called Penny Collector, which has these machines located. It tells people how to get to them. And I recently joined the Facebook page, and it's amazing what people will do to get these pennies. I just read about one guy that drove 2.5 hours one way to go to some place. It was closed when he got there. He went and found out that there was a volunteer. Somebody told him there's a volunteer down the street. They opened up the place just long enough for him to roll off 4 pennies so he could drive 2.5 hours home. So it gets kind of crazy with this. We could possibly do a news release too, especially every time we changed out the dies. The future of the penny, you may have heard that there's a pretty good chance that the penny is going to be discontinued. There's an estimated 10-year supply of pennies out there right now, but these can be converted to run dimes or nickels. And I have some examples here of what they might look like on a dime or a nickel. Location for the machine. I believe the best place for the location would actually be at the main library. I've actually contacted them, and they're for the idea with a caveat. The main library is going to be undergoing remodeling. So if the machine were to be bought in the near future, I would think we could possibly have it here at City Hall until the remodel was done in early 2026, where it would be placed there. I think the library is a good place because it gets a lot of traffic and there's some supervision there too. Will it make money? I don't believe it's going to make a lot of money. I think the income would be modest. My hope is that the machine would make enough over time to pay for new dies so we could have some new dies made and put in. And that gets us to the end. This is a picture of the machine that I propose. And do you have any questions?
I take it it's all manual. There's no power, no hookup.
It's all manual, right? You can get so that they're lit up on top. That would be where it's plugged in. But yeah, you crank it. It's completely manual. There is no power necessary.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Freeze, I am one of those people that consider myself I'm not a penny coin collector, but I have quite a few of these from different places that I've been. Yeah. And the manual ones are the best. Yeah. Yeah. I like this idea. I like the idea of the library. I'm wondering if the makerspace that's in that makerspace library that is more in Old Town, if people are going on a historic walking tour, maybe that location.
You're talking about Unbound?
Yeah, Unbound.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know they have makerspace inside of that library. So yeah, Unbound, I think you're right, is the name of that. Yeah. I'm just wondering if that might be a better location, just because more historical areas.
Yeah, I use Unbound quite frequently. They've got some really neat things there that are unbound. It's not the typical library. It doesn't get a lot of traffic.
Oh.
Not near as much as the main library does. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody but adults in there. Oh. And these machines really, kids love them. Adults love them too, but kids especially love them. I think one of the attractions is one, you can do something to a coin, but there's interaction with it. The ones that I recently saw in Las Vegas, they were all, it was $10 for 4 coins. You put a credit card in and it was all, then you stood back and watched it. It wasn't as much fun as actually cranking it. And the ones that I handed out were ones that were done at the recent coin show. We had somebody from, he's actually from the Seattle area that belongs to the elongated coin organization. And he brought in a manual one that is a real standalone that it's kind of hard to crank and it's kind of hard, but it works. And we had a lot of kids doing that with that and adults too.
Any other questions? Mr. Neri, I have two for you. First one would be, would we need council approval if it were to go in the lobby of City Hall?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, you would need council approval both for the
Right.
expenditure as well as, yes, to put it in City Hall.
My second question is,
Well, you need the mayor's approval for.
right. Can we charge for the coins?
Yes.
Okay,
Can't charge for the coins. We have to go through the process to create a fee for it, but we can do that.
so like a penny or whatever. Okay,
Yeah, so the cost is a penny that you put in,
right.
and then it would be a nickel.
But I didn't know if we could charge additional to that penny.
Right.
Make money is
Right.
my question.
Right.
Yeah, we'd have to, there's a process to follow.
Okay.
We could do that.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, over my time of collecting these, I feel like the majority used to be a quarter. You put in a penny and you put in a quarter. And the more recent ones that I have done have been 50 cents
Yeah.
for the penny that you're pressing. I feel like $1 would be out of line with the majority of the ones that I've gotten.
And you get my full agreement. I think $1 is too much.
Mhm.
But I think 50 cents is a sweet spot, or even a quarter.
A quarter
But,
would be really
yeah.
nice.
And I mean, you can rig these up to be free. I would think maybe when we first install it, and we make an announcement, say, okay, for the first week, it's free. And then we start charging. That's just an idea of mine.
Mr. Chair, I have one more question. As far as maintenance goes, or people to empty out the coins, do you have any idea how often? Is it just every place differs, or?
It all depends on how much traffic there is. And I'm told that adjusting these is pretty easy. They give really good support over the phone if you have a problem with them. And if we were to buy one, I would volunteer to take over responsibility of checking it. And again, it depends on how much use it gets. Does it need to be emptied every week, once a month, once a quarter? Once a week would be great. We'd be making lots of money on it. I would think maybe once a month or something, but I really don't know at this point because we don't have any track record for it.
I don't have any other questions right now for you, Commissioner Freeze. I know it is a big ticket item for us if we were to do it. And I don't know what we have left in the budget for the year, but it expires into September. So I don't know what else we have to pay for it for this year. But maybe look forward to maybe next year if we have money available or something, proceed at that point. So, Ms. Schiffer, what do we have in the budget? Remember right offhand?
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I don't remember offhand. I can look into that and get back to you. I need to also look at what we have left with the, mostly with the expenditures for the historic preservation plan and make sure we
Right.
cover that. So I
Okay.
can get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all we got.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
We will go on to item 3, update SHPO returned Meridian North Main Street Reconnaissance Survey. SHPO returned the survey that TAG did for us earlier this year. with some questions. I didn't know if Barb was going to be here. I asked her to join us, so I didn't know if she was available or not.
Mr. Chair, she's online.
Perfect. Barb, if you're handy, why don't you give us an update?
Hello, everyone. Well, we completed that survey 2 years ago, and as you know, SHPO has gone through several changes in staff and also implementing the new ICRIS system, which is beneficial on many levels. So they had some comments, and it looks like we have a little bit more work to do to meet their requirements, and which we, of course, are happy to do. Mainly, it looks like when they were identifying the boundaries, it looks like we left out some properties that they thought should have been included. They want a little bit more information on a couple of the properties. And again, a lot of this is because they've implemented this new system and they have new requirements. So if we are happy to make those changes that they are requesting, but we would ask that we just have the time to fit it into our current schedule of projects. I anticipate it will probably take us until December or January before we get those completed. But yeah, so we were caught in between this new change and change in staff and ICRIS, but we're happy to take care of whatever we need to make those changes. It is outside our budget, but we have worked for quite, we've done a number of projects with Meridian Historic Preservation Commission, and we want to do the job that you all need done. And so as long as we can do it in the time frame that works for us, we are definitely happy to make the changes that they're requesting.
Barb, this is Blaine. Could you do me a favor and could you let Ms. Schiffler know what it's going to cost? Because I imagine it's probably going to come into next year's budget.
Well, if we were, yeah, I actually sat down and squeezed out the numbers and looking at the work that needs to be done, it's probably going to take us about 40 to 50 hours of additional work. And, I mean, around $2,500 or so of additional work. Now, we would not be able, I understand the fiscal year ends September 30th.
Correct.
And based on our current schedule, I honestly don't think we can get the changes done by that date, only because we have, some other work that we're doing at this time. And again, we submitted this 2 years ago. So yeah, so yeah, it's squeezing it into our schedule, and we want to take care of those questions that SHPO has with these new requirements, but it will be an additional $2,500 or so for us to do that. And I do not believe we can get that done by September 30th.
I think that's fine. I think the December, January timeframe would be fine for the completion of it.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Do you have any questions for us?
I really don't. I mean, I'm really happy that ICRIS is in place. I'm very happy that they now have the CLG coordinator. Alexis is, you all have met her. And I'm also happy that things are moving forward. So all of it is good. And it's just been interesting to be, put on the back burner for a couple of years. So we will do what we can, to make the work. And it's not a lot, honestly. It's not a ton of work, but it's just additional work that we were not, prepared for at this moment.
Right. I understand that. Does the commission have any comments or questions for Barb?
Mr. Chair, I do. Barbara, do you know if the SHPO's budget woes because of the federal government withdrawing the funds, do you know if that's going to impact their ability to even look at this come January?
I really can't answer that question. I mean, it's something that is on the forefront of my mind and many people I know. I know that they have told us that they may have a skeleton crew and they will do everything they can to move forward should they end up with fewer staff members. And I guess in my head, just because, as a historic preservationist, we want to make sure that we are recording and documenting important places. Even if they can't review it, the information will be in ICRIS, and should they lose that staff, it will be there waiting when they get fully staffed again. It's where, I really don't quite know how to answer it, but just know that with that system in place, that is something that will not go away, and regardless of when they get back to it, if they can't do it by December, it will be there.
Thank you. That's a good plan.
All right, thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
With that, we'll go on to old business. So, historic walking tour and public outreach from June 21st. Commissioner Freeze, how'd the outreach go? We didn't have a.
Well, we didn't have a walking tour because of the parade. I think the outreach went fairly well. We have the charts out here, and we got some people to mark what they thought was important. We had three options. One was, what do you think is very important, not so important, and basically you didn't care at all. And nobody used the other two options. It was all green, 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 green. The one thing that kind of surprised me was I expected because of the parade, we'd have a lot more traffic and it'd be really busy,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. The farmer's market the crowd was, I don't know, seemed a little low. And then most of the people that came through were like zipping through to go to the parade and zipping out to leave the parade. We caught a few of those people to put their little stamps on there. And I did have some extensive conversations with several people. It was interesting. They were almost all of them were, I would say, 50 and older. And they all complained that young people don't treasure history. They could care less, and that it's one day they're going to wake up and it's all going to be gone, and they're going to wonder what happened.
Yep.
But I thought it was pretty good in lieu of us not having the tour. We did have people who did not get word that the tour was not happening, and they gathered, and some of them came over once they figured it out. Yeah, there was some people that didn't get the word, and that's always the case.
Okay. About how many people did you think you talked to?
Oh, maybe 30 or so.
It's not bad. It's more
Yeah.
than we had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them were brief conversations. Some of them were very long conversations.
Perfect. And then on July 19th, we're going to have another tour. The Commissioner Pitts and myself will be leading that one. So we'll plan on that. Hopefully we'll have semi-cool weather, but we'll wait and see.
President, I am not able to, I'm listed on August.
Hear you?
I am not able to be here. We have to be out of town.
Okay. We will make arrangements and we'll get that coordinated. So, commissioners, if you want to look at your calendars and see who's available for the 19th of July, and
No, I can do it for the July night.
you can't do July, not August.
But I'm
Gotcha.
scheduled for August.
Okay,
So I could do it for the 19th of.
gotcha. Okay,
but not August.
scratch that last comment, people. Any other discussion on our walking tour public outreach?
Mr. Chair and Commissioners. So we have the boards, and it is an option if you wanted to do other events, or if any commissioners had interest in having the boards or trying to engage with the public at somewhere else. You could do that over the next couple of weeks. So please just reach out and let me know if you'd like to take the boards and go somewhere and try to talk to the public.
Okay, thank you. Other project updates, discussions. Ms. Schiffler, have we heard anything else from Holt Films on their photography?
I haven't received an update from him. He was beginning that work, but I haven't heard from him since last month, so I will follow up with him.
Okay, thank you. Potential National Historic Register nomination for Zamzow's Mills. I have reached out to Zamzow's. The family is aware of our interest in having the mill listed. They are talking amongst themselves. They're going to formulate a few questions and get back to us as a commission, or me. I emailed them, but get back to us with any questions or concerns they have. That's the latest. We're proceeding slowly with that one. Section 106 review regarding adverse effects of the 8-mile lateral. On Monday, the 30th, there'll be a Zoom meeting with the Corps of Engineers and I don't know who else on mitigation plan for the 8-mile lateral and what Western States Equipment has done. So I will have a report in July on what that Zoom meeting has and see what happens on that one. Historic Preservation Plan progress. Do you have more information on that?
We're kind of, our consultant has everything she needs to start moving forward on drafting some of the plan. We're still kind of working through the goals, strategies, and objective sections. If anyone has further comment on those, send them to me. I have been working with the planning department. They're doing a review of the city's comp plan. A lot of these goals are similar with the comp plan, and they're looking at reviewing some of those. So planning on looking to leadership and asking about how the goals align and if they're in agreement with them or if they have any other further direction.
Do we need to have planning at a future meeting when we get closer, do you think, or?
For the purposes of,
Making sure what our plan and the future comp plan mesh? Or if they have any questions for us?
I don't anticipate it. But if that seems, I don't anticipate it, I guess.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it in the future. Reports, National Alliance of Preservation Commissions. Commissioner Giacomo, can you give us a report, please?
Yeah, on June 14th, Chairman Johnston and myself were able to attend a CAMP training, and CAMP stands for Commission Assistance and Mentoring Program. This is the first one I've attended, but it seems like a good majority of the people there have been to several of these over the years. A lot of people with a lot of experience doing what we're doing what Ms. Schiffler's doing, people from SHPO. I feel like it was well attended. In case anyone doesn't know, I know we have an audience here tonight. SHPO is State Preservation Historic Office. So just in case if I'm using some acronyms, I'll try not to. What we first heard about were the standards and guidelines for design review. So these are the questions that you would ask yourself as you're reviewing a project. Excuse me, hold on. So a project that's being remodeled or being turned into a different use, or there's actually 10 of these questions that to go over. And these are standards that are set by the Secretary of the Interior from 1976, I believe. We don't do this here, but other historic preservation commissions do. But they went over that, you want to make sure that the use is going to be appropriate. So you're not turning something that was like a historic hotel into all of a sudden now it's a gas station or something, but maybe that's okay. But that is something that you want to look at. Does the building retain the historic character? Does the building tell the true story of the development? So they were really pointing out that you don't want to falsify any information and make it look like a building is older than it is, or a building was fancier than it was, for example. They want you to look at considering historic changes as potentially significant as the building changed over time. So maybe it was something that was built in 1880, but then if something significant happened in 1930, it's okay to retain that. And just, can you repair it rather than replace what you're thinking about doing to the building? Don't use destructive treatments. Are the design additions sympathetic and compatible to the original? So they don't want you to put an addition, say, on the front of the building where there'd be some really interesting characteristic, but maybe put that addition at the back where people aren't really seeing that as the very first thing they see when they see an old building. And then can you make the new additions reversible? So if a new owner wanted to purchase the property, but they wanted to take it back to the way that it was, is that easily achievable? So those were all things that I had never really thought deeply about. And we don't review projects anyway, but it's good for future knowledge. And of course, Mr. Chair, jump in if there's,
You're doing a great job.
Okay. And then really quickly, I thought that was one of the more interesting ones. We learned legal basics. That just went over that cities and states can enact land use restrictions to preserve the character of the building or the area. There's other groups doing what they called C of A's. It's Certificate of Appropriateness. So it's they give approval for changes to a building. And again, like I said, that's not something that we're doing. And then we went over preservation planning. This was interesting because we've just gone through this. And we're, continuing to go through that. But they talked a little bit about SHPOs and how they work, how to create a preservation plan, the SWOT process that we went through, and how to build awareness and relationships with the community. And then the fourth one was community outreach and building public support. So that was, again, also ways to engage the community, the pressed pennies, the walks that we do, awards, the award programs. They were really big on having youth on the commission, which now we just lost our wonderful youth person. So that's an open spot. And then the last little bit was just an overview of the funding that they're not going to be receiving. Thankfully, our SHPO is fiscally conservative, just like Idaho, so they do have an operating budget for this year. It's their 2024 funds is what they're going on. But they were granted their 2025 funds and they haven't received them yet. And they're probably not going to receive them. And what they were telling us is that the money that they were receiving is from offshore oil and gas leasing royalties. And that's been going on for 45 years that they've been receiving these funds. So it's not even our tax dollars, but those funds have been redirected elsewhere, I suppose. So that is something that if we're heartbroken about, we can write to our senators about that. The camp training is being planned for next October in Coeur d'Alene, but they don't know if that's going to happen with their lack of funding. And if you can think of anything else.
The only thing I can add is for public awareness and preservation plans, a lot of things they talk about is stuff we're doing already.
Mhm.
The public involvement and the SWOT analysis. So from that, I think we're on track and following good guidelines and getting done what we need to get done. So the only thing I'm going to add. So thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Giacomo? With that, then, our next meeting will be July 24th, 2025. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Freeze, second by Commissioner Giddings for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, we're done, people. Thank you.